If you are trying to choose between Prospect and Beacon Falls, you are looking at two towns that most people outside of New Haven County have never really compared side by side. And that's exactly why this video exists. Both are smaller, quieter communities that fly under the radar compared to some of the better well-known suburbs like Cheshire and Shelton, and both attract buyers who want something a little more off the beaten path. But once you actually start breaking them down category by category, there are very different decisions. And here is the thing that might surprise you before we even get started. Beacon Falls is not the cheaper option. We will get into that in round one. We are going to score 10 categories that actually matter to current buyers. Each category is worth half a star. If a town clearly wins that category, it will get half a star. If both towns are strong, they will both get half a star. The max rating is 5 stars. So by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly which town fits your life and why the answer is probably not exactly what you expected. I'm Dave Jones, broker owner of Dave Jones Realty. Lived here in Connecticut my whole life. My team helps buyers navigate these decisions every single day. It isn't just theory. So let's go. Round one, entry price. Let's start with price, and I want to set up this round carefully because the numbers here are going to surprise a lot of people. Looking at Smart MLS year-to-date data through March of 2026, Prospect has a single-family median sales price of $390,000. Beacon Falls comes in at $500,000. Let me say that again. Beacon Falls, which most buyers think of as a small, overlooked, working-class town in Naugatuck Valley, is running close to $500,000. That's almost $110,000 more than Prospect. Now, both these are small markets with low transaction volume, so I want to be very careful about over-interpreting any single month, but the year-to-date number is a very reliable number, and it's telling a clear story. Beacon Falls has been appreciating aggressively, and the price point has moved up significantly. Buyers that assume Beacon Falls was budget option may need to recalibrate. For entry price, lower cost of getting in, Prospect wins this round clearly, and because of it, Prospect gets half a star. Round two, property tax. Now we get into taxes, and this is where the story for Prospect gets even stronger. For fiscal year 2026, Prospect's mill rate is 25.57. Beacon Falls is still very reasonable at 30.46. But that's nearly a 5 mil difference. Let me put that in real dollars. Take a home assessed at $400,000, and remember, in Connecticut, assessed value is typically 70% of fair market, so run your own math accordingly. But on a $400,000 assessed value, in Prospect, your annual property taxes will be about $10,200, and in Beacon Falls, that same home will cost you approximately $12,200. That's nearly a $2,000 a year increase just for living in Beacon Falls. So over 10 years, that's $20,000. And Beacon Falls homes are running higher on the purchase price currently. Buyers are facing a double hit, more upfront and more after. So Prospect dominates this round, and it's not even close. Because of that, Prospect gets half a star. So here we are 2 rounds in, and Prospect is winning 1-0. It's 1 on entry price and on taxes, and that is a strong value case. But we have 8 more rounds to go, and Beacon Falls has some real advantages. It also has some catching up to do, so let's keep going. Round 3, market momentum. Now let's talk about what is actually happening in the markets right now. Momentum tells us where the buyer demand is going, and that matters both for your purchase and for your eventual sale. Prospect's year-to-date through February 2026, we've only had 9 closed sales. Average days on market is 66, and the list price to received price is 98.7. So the market is active, but it's moving at a little bit slower, more deliberate pace. That's mainly because there's not a lot of inventory here. People are waiting for the exact house they want. I, for one, have buyers lined up waiting for a certain type of house to hit here in Prospect, and they just haven't. Beacon Falls, the same time frame, there's been 5 closed sales year to date. So that's one of the reasons the average sales price is so much higher. It's such a small sample size. But here is the number that's going to jump off the page. Pending sales went from 2 in the same period last year to 9 right now. 9 in a town where the whole market might do 30 to 40 transactions in a year. There's currently 9 under contract already in February. That is huge. Days on market are just 20 days year to date, and homes are selling at 100.5% of asking price, meaning buyers are going over asking here in Beacon Falls. Beacon Falls has real building momentum right now. Pending sale numbers are a leading indicator, and it's pointing strongly upward. Prospect is super steady, but not showing the same directional energy. For market momentum, Beacon Falls takes this round, and Beacon Falls gets half a star. Round 4, buying experience. This round is about what it actually feels like to go through the buying process in each town, the competition level, the pace, and how much pressure you are under. In Beacon Falls, the market is moving super fast. One of the reasons is there are actually homes to buy there. Homes are selling in 23 days on average. Buyers are coming in over asking price with only 6 active listings, inventory super tight. If you want to buy in Beacon Falls now, you need to be sharp, pre-approved, and ready to tour the day it lists. You have to be willing to make decisions. The pending sale surge tells me competition is heating up. This is not a market where you take a week to think about it. The property won't be there. In Prospect, the pace is a little slower, but that's mainly because there's zero inventory here. When the right property lists, it sells instantly. When properties are not priced right, they sit a little longer. There's 10 active listings, meaning there's slightly more selection, but you're less likely to find yourself in a bidding war currently, and that's genuinely valuable, especially for buyers who are still learning what they want and where they want. For a calmer, less pressured buying experience, Prospect's going to win this round, and Prospect gets half a star. Round 5, commute and daily access. Neither Prospect nor Beacon Falls is going to get confused as a commuter hub, but there are some real differences on how connected each town is to the rest of Connecticut. Beacon Falls has a meaningful geographic advantage. It sits right on Route 8, one of the main north-south corridors in the state, puts you about 20 minutes to Derby and Shelton, 25 minutes to Waterbury, gives you quick access to 84, east towards Hartford or west towards Danbury. The Naugatuck River Greenway runs through the town. It's a small, functional downtown on Route 42. You are not driving far for basic daily needs. Prospect, as we talked about in the previous episode, sits on a ridge without the same direct highway access. You have to go to Waterbury, you have to go to Naugatuck, you have to go to Cheshire for most errands. Commute times to Hartford or New Haven are workable. You have Route 68, which goes direct Naugatuck to Cheshire, Route 69, which goes Waterbury to New Haven. So for this round, I'm going to call it a tie because Prospect does have access to 84, Route 8. The Route 69 and Route 68 corridors also lend itself nicely to commuters. So for this, both get half a star. Quick pause here if you're watching this because you're actually trying to decide between these 2 towns or any 2 towns. This is actually what my team at Dave Jones Realty does every single day. We don't just help you find a house, we help you figure out which town makes sense for your life. So before you even start looking, call, text, or email me. We are here to help, and that is what we love to do. Round 6, schools and perception. As always on this channel, I'm not going to rank schools directly. That is personal. It changes every year, and that right tool for that research is greatschools.org. You can get to it right from our website. Plug in the specific address, do your homework. But what I can tell you is community perception, because perception is a real factor in home values. Prospect is quiet, respected. Buyers who know it tend to like it. but it does not carry strong name recognition outside of the immediate area. It's not a town that shows up on most people's radar when they're building their short list. Beacon Falls has a similar challenge, and historically, it's carried a working class industrial town image tied to its Naugatuck Valley roots. That perception is starting to shift as the prices rise, as buyers discover the town, but it has not fully crossed into the well regarded suburban category yet. It is still a town in transition reputation wise. Both towns are relatively equal here. Neither has a dominant reputation advantage, but I will tell you, most people would prefer to pick Prospect. So because of this, Prospect gets half a star. Round 7, lifestyle and daily feel. This is where personal preference takes over and where buyers really need to be honest with themselves. Prospect is rural, it's quiet, it has large lots, private driveways, open land, but it also has no real town center activity. If you want to come home and genuinely decompress, if the idea of space and separation from everything is the goal, Prospect delivers. The trade-off is you're not walking anywhere. The social fabric of the community is built around knowing your neighbors rather than shared public spaces. Beacon Falls has a bit more character as a small town. There's a historic downtown area, a river corridor. The community's been there a long time, and it's not a busy place. This is still a small New England town, but it has a slightly more of a lived-in community feel than Prospect. If you want quiet, but just a little more going on around you, Beacon Falls leans in that direction. Both towns are genuinely quiet and removed from suburban intensity, but they deliver that quite differently. Prospect delivers through isolation and space. Beacon Falls delivers through small town character. Because both are strong options, depending on what you value, this is a split. And because of that, both get half a star. Round 8, things to do and amenities. Neither of these two towns is going to win an award for local amenities. Let me be straight about that. These are small, quiet towns. These are not destination communities with award-winning restaurants and farmers markets every Saturday. But there's still a difference worth noting. Beacon Falls, by virtue of position along Route 8 and its proximity to Shelton, Derby, Ansonia, Naugatuck, puts you within a short drive of a lot of options. The Naugatuck State Forest is right there for outdoor rec. Route 8 gives you quick access to anything Shelton has to offer. Prospect requires driving a little bit further for most amenities. Waterbury, Cheshire, Naugatuck, these are your usual destinations. There's options there, but the trip is usually a bit more of a commitment. Traffic through the center of Prospect is tough most weekdays. Beacon Falls has a slight edge here simply because of proximity to more resources without needing to go very far. It's not a dominant win, but it's still a win for Beacon Falls. Prospect, you can still get to Costco and large grocery stores in neighboring towns without too much difficulty, but Beacon Falls is still going to get the edge here, and because of it, Beacon Falls gets half a star. Round 9, space and outdoor feel. Now we get to Prospect's home turf, and this is where it's going to separate itself. Prospect sits on an elevated ridge between Waterbury and Naugatuck Valley. It's one of the highest elevations in all of Connecticut. Prospect tends to have more land, longer driveways, a genuine sense of elevation and openness. You are above everything. Views in certain parts of the town are legitimately beautiful. The overall feel is rural in the way it's hard to replicate without going much further from civilization. Beacon Falls has outdoor assets like the Naugatuck River, the Greenway, access to Naugatuck State Forest, the river corridor throughout the town. These are real amenities, but the town itself is more constrained geographically. It's tucked in the valley, lot sizes are smaller. The feel is more of a small river town than open rural landscape. For buyers who want specifically land, space, and elevated rural feel, Prospect's the clear winner, and because of that, Prospect gets a half a star. Round 10, resale strength. The final round, and we are thinking long term because you're not buying this house just for a couple months or a year. You're planning on raising your families there. You're planning on staying. And when the day comes to sell, Which town is going to give you the better position? This is where Beacon Falls momentum's getting a little interesting. Home selling at 100% of list price, 23 days on market, 9 pending in February. This is a market with motivated buyers right now. If Beacon Falls continues to appreciate and that momentum holds, buyers that get in today could be in a great position 5 to 10 years from now. The rising price trajectory is real. Prospects resale story is more complicated. The days on market is a little longer currently, smaller buyer pool, and as we've discussed, the monthly data swings dramatically because of the low volume. There is not a lot of houses here for sale. The pool of buyers who specifically want Prospect's Rural Ridge lifestyle is very narrow. That affects liquidity when you go to sell. Prospect has the stronger long-term resale foundation. The mill rate advantage is part of the structure, 25 versus 30. It's not going away. That tax efficiency is consistent draw for buyers over time. Beacon Falls has exciting momentum right now, but the momentum's just a snapshot. 5 closed sales year to date is a very small sample size. Prospect's lower tax burden, its appeal to motivated specific buyers who love the rural lifestyle, it's definitely setting you up in a better resale position. And because of that, Prospect gets half a star. Final scores we're going to go over now. Prospect dominated and came in at 4 out of 5 stars, and Beacon Falls had 2 out of 5 stars. Here's what the score actually means, because the star ratings don't tell the whole story. Prospect wins the matchup on the scorecard, and the margin is quite a bit. It wins on so many different categories, but every one of those wins points to the same type of buyer, someone who's looking for an optimized long-term value, lower carrying costs, more land, a durable resale position that's built on structural fundamentals rather than short-term momentum. The trade-off is real. You have fewer amenities, you're driving more, it's a slower market pace. But for the right buyer, those are acceptable trade-offs. Beacon Falls wins on quite a few categories as well. And here's what I want buyers to understand. The momentum story in Beacon Falls is real. The time to buy there is now. 9 pending sales in February, homes going over asking price, prices up significantly year over year. This is a market that's moving. Buyers getting into Beacon Falls today will be in a great position a couple years from now. Buyers in Beacon Falls are also paying a little more upfront. They're paying a little more in tax every year, and they are betting on that momentum to keep continuing rather than just betting on structured fundamentals. And that's a different bet. The wrong move is picking Prospect because it scored higher and then resenting the isolation and the drive to everything in 6 months. The wrong move is picking Beacon Falls because the momentum looks exciting and then getting stretched thin by the high purchase price and the higher mill rate. Pick the town that fits your active lifestyle, not how you think you want to live, but how you actually live. You're not going to lose when it comes to schools. Region 16 is great. Do your research on that. If you're curious about what an actual neighborhood is like in Beacon Falls or Prospect, I always recommend driving through at different times of the day, different days of the week, and you'll get a good feel for what's going on. Talk to people who live there. Safety is personal. Do not make a decision based off a YouTube video. Don't make a decision off a Facebook group. Make sure you're doing your research. Here's what I want you to do right now. If you're ready to have a real conversation about Prospect or Beacon Falls or Connecticut, call my team. You can reach out to us today. We have 5 offices here in Connecticut, over 150 agents. We know these markets. We've sold over 5,000 properties here. We will help you make the right decision the first time. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I answer all of them personally. Let me know what town you would like to see in a head-to-head matchup next. Until next time, I'm Dave Jones with Dave Jones Realty. Can't wait to help you get to Connecticut.